If it's happening in professional wrestling, we're breaking it down. The matches, the moments, the rumors, and yes, even the hot takes. This is Pro Wrestling Focus. No nonsense, no wasted motion, just pure wrestling talk. Now here's your host, Cody Springer.
What's good, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Pro Wrestling Focus, and this is my predictions for WWE Money in the Bank. Yes, Money in the Bank is tomorrow night, live on Peacock and Netflix if you're outside the United States. And this is that one time a year where the Money in the Bank briefcase can definitely boost the career of a male or female superstar in the WWE. So without any further ado, let's dive into my predictions for this year's Money in the Bank PLE. All right, so we're going to start off with the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. Our participants are Andrade, Penta, Solo Sikoa, LA Knight, El Grande Americano, and Seth freaking Rollins. Yeah, I think this match could definitely be match of the night material for sure. I mean, you got Penta in there, El Grande Americano. Those two are going to count for some exciting moments, as well as Andrade. Andrade is a veteran of the Money in the Bank ladder match as well. Then you have the two stars in the match, which are LA Knight and Seth Rollins, in there as well. So yeah, I think this could make for some exciting moments. And out of all of the participants in this match, I would say the favorite to win right now would be Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins, he has won Money in the Bank in the past, and we all know the heist of the century when he cashed in that Money in the Bank contract at WrestleMania 31 in the match with Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns to become WWE champion the first time. And now Seth Rollins is looking to become the Money in the Bank briefcase holder once again as he continues his quest to save the wrestling business, to preserve the future of the business. And then, Rollins has aligned himself with Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed and Paul Heyman. And I expect that Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker will be making their presence felt in this match as well. I do expect that they're going to get involved here. But I also expect another person, or maybe two other people, to get involved in this match. And that would be CM Punk and Sami Zayn, because, if you remember, Seth and his group, they screwed Sammy and Punk out of qualifying for Money in the Bank. So I think this is what's going to happen. I think Seth Rollins, he's going to get to the point where he's going to win this thing. He climbs up the briefcase. He climbs up the ladder to get the briefcase. And then Punk's music hits. Him and Sammy come down to the ring, and they, basically screw Seth over to where he doesn't win Money in the Bank. And I think it's only fitting that they do it because, they got screwed out of qualifying for the match. So yeah, even though Seth Rollins is the favorite to win this match, my pick to win Money in the Bank this year is LA Knight. Yeah. Yes, I think this is LA Knight's year. I honestly do, because if they don't pull the trigger on LA Knight now, then they're never going to. So I think this is the year. I think this is the time. And I think it's time for LA Knight to secure that Money in the Bank contract for a future world title run. But yeah, they could go with Solo Sikoa as well, but I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, he's involved with Jacob Fatu, and that whole thing's crumbling. So therefore, I'm gonna go with LA Knight. I think he is the pick to win this match, and yeah, dude, I think LA Knight, this is his year. I think eventually, at some point this year, he is going to become a world champion. I'm really hoping for it. I want it to happen, and I'm hoping it does happen. So LA Knight for the men's Money in the Bank. All right, the next match here, and this could potentially be our main event of the evening. It'll be Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso teaming up against John Cena and Logan Paul. So, Cody's been back. He returned at Saturday Night's Main Event a couple weeks ago, and he announced that him and Jey Uso will be going up against John Cena and Logan Paul. I think this is going to be the start of the road for Cody Rhodes to regain, to become once again the WWE champion, because John Cena, his retirement run isn't going to last forever. It's not going to last forever. He is going to retire in December at Saturday Night's Main Event. It's going to happen. So this retirement run's not going to last for very much longer. We got about, it's June, so July, August, September, October, November, and December. So we got about 7 more months of John Cena before he calls it a career. So I think this is going to start building the road to Cena once again going up against Cody Rhodes, and I believe that Cena will drop the title back to Cody, before Cena calls it a career. So I believe that Cody and Jey are going to win this match. I think that John Cena and Logan Paul's partnership is going to disintegrate. They've teased that already. They teased that on last week's SmackDown when Cena and Logan had a disagreement about what they should do. If they should attack Cody and Jey or if they should just leave the ring. They had a disagreement about that. So, I think, their partnership is going to disintegrate, and Cena might even just walk out on the match, and Logan Paul will take the pin, and Cody and Jey will get the win. And like I said, this will be the beginning of Cody and John's rematch that might happen at SummerSlam. So, I think that's the direction they're going to head into. And then Jey is going to move on to Gunther on the following Raw. And I don't know what's going to happen with Logan Paul. And to be honest, I don't really care what happens with Logan Paul at this point. So, but that's just me. All right. Now the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. We have Julia, Stephanie Vaquer, Rhea Ripley, Alexa Bliss, Roxanne Perez, and Naomi. This, I feel like, is going to piss a lot of fucking people off. I feel like it is, but, I feel like if Roxanne, Stephanie, or Julia doesn't win, then I feel like a lot of fans are going to get pissed off. I feel like a lot of fans are going to get fucking pissed if neither of them win. Because I feel like fans feel like because Roxanne, Stephanie, and Julia are so talented and so good that they should just automatically win everything. No. No, that's not necessarily how this is going to go now, because, they got to, pay their dues just as much as anybody else. As far as who I think is going to win this match, I'm going to go with Naomi. And I know that's going to piss a lot of people off. And people are probably like, what the fuck? Listen. They're doing it for merchandising reasons, because I believe what they're going to do. And I called this a while back ago, if you've been paying attention, to my last couple episodes. I feel like Naomi, if she would win the briefcase, she's going to put caution tape all around the briefcase. I feel like it's going to be a branding thing. It's going to be, one of those type deals, because WWE's had a history in the past of customizing the Money in the Bank briefcases, tailoring it to a certain wrestler's character. And Naomi will be no different. And I'm sure LA Knight, if he does win the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, will have his own custom Money in the Bank briefcase as well. So yeah, I think it'll be a branding thing, merchandising thing as to why they would do it. And then, I think Naomi will eventually cash in on Tiffany Stratton to become the women's champion. And Naomi will eventually drop that title to Jade Cargill or Bianca Belair. It just depends on the story in which they're telling, which it seems like, they're still continuing the story between her and Jade, but Bianca is also involved. And, maybe it'll be a triple threat match. Maybe we'll get get it to be a triple threat match between these three ladies, and then, and then that's what we ultimately happens. Maybe that's what happens at SummerSlam. It just depends on if Bianca Belair will be medically cleared in time to compete, which she probably will be. She has a finger injury, I believe. She broke her finger in the WrestleMania match with Rhea and Io. But yeah, I think if Bianca Belair gets medically cleared in time for SummerSlam, then maybe that's what we get, possibly is Naomi, Jade Cargill, and Bianca Belair triple threat match for the women's championship. Because, Tiffany Stratton, as great as she is, she's not going to be the women's champion forever. I think, eventually she's going to drop the championship, possibly to Naomi. And yeah, I think that's who I think is going to win. As far as who I think could be an outside pick for this, and this is going to be another pick that's going to piss people off, but Rhea Ripley. I think Rhea Ripley is another possibility to win the women's Money in the Bank, and people will get mad about this too, saying Rhea doesn't need it, doesn't deserve it. She's sleeping with Triple H to get what she wants. Yeah, I've seen that on social media too, which total bullshit. But yeah, people will get pissed about Rhea Ripley if she wins. And I think another reason why they would pick her is so that way they can call her Mommy in the Bank. Yeah, I think that's why they would do it. And I think another outside pick would be Stephanie Vaquer as well. I mean, she just got onto the main roster, but I'm telling you, Roxanne, Stephanie, and Julia, yeah, they're big things in their futures for sure. I definitely see big things from all three of them. Now that they're on the main roster, they killed it in NXT, but now they're on the main roster. This is their time to prove themselves. And yeah, I think we're going to get an exciting women's Money in the Bank ladder match. But my pick to win, Naomi. And then that brings us to the Women's Intercontinental Championship match, Becky Lynch versus Lyra Valkyria. And there's stipulations to this match. If Becky wins, then Lyra has to raise Becky's hand in victory. But if Becky loses, then she cannot challenge for the Women's Intercontinental Championship ever again, as long as Lyra Valkyria is champion. So, yeah, Becky is heavily favored to win, but she was also heavily favored to win at Backlash, and Lyra beat her. But I think this time around, though, I think Becky Lynch is going to beat Lyra Valkyria to become the new Women's Intercontinental Champion. I think that is going to happen this time. I think Becky will do what she did last time, use underhanded tactics to get the job done. But she will beat Lyra Valkyria this time, and Lyra will have to raise her hand in victory as the new Women's Intercontinental Champion. But of course, this will set up the rematch for SummerSlam between Becky and Lyra. You know, and this will be the last match in their feud, hopefully, and then they'll blow off the feud altogether. And yeah, so I think this is what will happen. So I'm predicting that Becky will defeat Lyra Valkyria to become the new Women's Intercontinental Champion. So to recap my picks, I'm going with LA Knight to win the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso over John Cena and Logan Paul, Naomi to win the women's Money in the Bank ladder match, and then Becky Lynch to beat Lyra Valkyria to become the new Women's Intercontinental Champion. So yeah, those are my picks for Money in the Bank. And Money in the Bank is tomorrow night live on Peacock and Netflix if you're outside the United States. And I'll be back earlier on in the week for my Money in the Bank review. So yeah, make sure that you stay tuned for my review of Money in the Bank. So those are my picks. Let me know if you agree or disagree. And I will be talking to you all very soon. So enjoy wrestling and stay focused.